In the wake of those courageous and inspirational protests in Iran, met by deadly force from the authorities, the Iranian Islamist theocratic regime is now warning of an all-out war on the US and its allies. Here's the latest from NBC News.
For the first time, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei admitted that thousands of people have been killed. A U.S.-based human rights group estimates about 3,000 protesters have been killed by Iranian security forces. But because of the internet blackout over the last week, the actual numbers are very hard to independently confirm. Now, in his speech today, Khamenei didn't take any responsibility for the killings that he described as, quote, inhumane and savage, instead blaming the protesters and also the United States for inciting the violence, calling President Trump a criminal.
Let's welcome to the program again the academic, author and Iranian-Australian Dr Saba Vasefi. Thanks for joining us again, Saba. Tragic consequences unfolding in your home country. A lot of confusion and doubt as to how many people have been killed. What's the latest you're hearing from family and friends in Iran?
Last night I spoke with a guy, the family. They said they have been forced to pay in order to receive the lifeless body of their loved one. And then they said, we don't have that amount of money to pay. And he told me, the officer laughed at me and said, if you don't have money to buy the corpse, don't worry, perhaps in another world you can see your son. And this is the regime, Islamic regime, that they seized the power in 1979. With the claim that they are going to save and support the oppressed. And however, as you can see how they are brutalizing people. And in my view, even it's more than crimes against humanity, it constitutes genocide because systematically and deliberately they are annihilating people based on their views and belief because they refuse to capitulate to religious fascism.
Trying to extort money out of people to get the corpses of their family members back.
Yeah, and historically they have done that, even soon after they seized the power in 1979.
It's very hard to get news out of Iran. We don't know how many people have been killed. In your assessment, are the protests still happening or has the regime quelled them for now?
There are a few protests on the ground. It has been reported. But I think we need to, because there are a war of narratives.
Yeah.
And the regime is using all those opportunities, including Western platforms, Western news outlet. For example, while they crack down the protests on the street and then they paralyze all the channels of communication, CNN interviewed with some of the agents of the regime from inside Iran to disseminate their propaganda. Or The Guardian, twice, not only once, twice, one during the anniversary of extrajudicial killing of Mahsa Jina Amini, and then again, in the earliest stage of protest, they gave a column to Iran foreign minister to write a column and treating a state actor responsible for crimes against humanity as a legitimate expert and allowing to traffic propaganda is another issue.
Now, no one should be surprised about the evils of this regime if they've followed over recent decades. Australians should be reminded that we know Iran actually organised the firebombing of the Adas synagogue in Melbourne last year. That's why the Iranian ambassador has been expelled from Australia. You, of course, have to have security and fear for your own safety in Australia as someone who speaks out against the Iranian regime. So let me finish with the big question. Do you believe that this movement, this people's revolution, if you want to call it that, has the potential to overturn the regime this time? We've seen such risings quashed in the past. Do you believe American intervention could help this or could make matters worse?
Not only American intervention, we need global, free world intervention, humanitarian intervention. For example, Australia recognizes the principle of universal jurisdiction. And in that case, it means the Attorney General of Australia has the power to prosecute the regime for the crime they've done in Australia and in the country.
Australia should do more with these international efforts. Thanks so much for joining us again, Saba. We'll catch up again soon. Dr Saba Vasefi.